This conference will now be recorded.
That's great. So Cisco, welcome to future. Cisco ACI is no more a new technology. It is very much popular. I will not say old, but I will say now it is very much popular technology. Though we are learning Cisco ACI, but I would request you just don't think it from a vendor perspective. Though vendor is giving us a platform to learn, think it from multi-vendor perspective, like VMware has a solution, like Arista has a beautiful, a very cost-effective solution. I will not say cheap, right? But it's a very cost-effective and beautiful solution. So it's not just the ACI, it is called as software defined networking, which is nothing but which is our data center networking solution. When we say data center, and of course when we say software defined networking, this means this is a cloud oriented solution to be implemented in the data center. Earlier in the data center, old technologies, if we say new technology, in old technology, three-tier architecture, isn't it? Core, distribution, and the access layer, and below that the servers, the connectivity, like this. Where all the nodes, this is three-tier, Cisco three-tier architecture, core, distribution, and of course I should connect over here, core, distribution, and access layer. Guys, this technology says thank you very much to you are old. This is an old connectivity. Now our connectivity configuration says we will not be providing any lateral connectivity as per this particular technology, but we will be providing just east to west connectivity. Done. And that do not spread across three layers or three tiers. We would be providing you two-tier, though we don't call it as a two-tier architecture. This particular guy, which is indeed a switch, will provide the AND host connectivity. And why this particular connectivity? Because this AND host need not be a physical AND host, unlike in this particular architecture, the old traditional Cisco three-tier architecture. These servers, they used to be the AND servers, they used to be the physical servers. Now, in case, I think Sukesh, you said, why? Customer says, why should I go to Cisco ACI? First of all, you should address him. In case if your customer asks a question, why Cisco ACI? Then you should request the customer to put a question, why software defined networking and not the old three-tier architecture? Today, this is when we come to the migration, right? The very first question which comes to us, right, is why should I migrate from my traditional network to this modern network? Guys, I hope you know the reason. The reason is in comparison to these two architectures. Well, unless and until you ask me, I'm not going to tell you. Otherwise, we will keep on moving back and forth. But please, this doesn't mean that I'm stopping you. Rather, I'm trying to prompt you to ask any question. Guys, one more thing. Please never think that your question can be a stupid question. I have learned this from a great gentleman. You know him, everybody know him very well. So please never ever think that your question could be stupid question. So please ask, interrupt in between the session. I would love to address your questions. Okay. So in case of our dear Cisco ACI, we are going to come across some new terminologies. We are going to come across certain new protocols. Please never ever think that, wow, what exactly is this? We are going to come across certain new devices, right? So just be ready. Well, ACI, Application Centric Infrastructure, ACL, Access Control List, APIC, BD, new, COOP, new, ECMP, we know, endpoint, all right, it's fine. Endpoint group, what exactly is this? It is new. FTAP, VTAP, we have done it. VTAP just completed in VXLAN. What is this GPO? IS, we never bothered in our Cisco learnings, but well, we spoke about it. You know what I'm trying to tell? I'm trying to induce a new terminologies into you, right? Over the period of our learning, we will be talking about all these terminologies and in a systematic way. So there are a lot of new words, buzzwords, right? Roaming, buzzing in the cloud, in the universe today. Of course, application, right? Centric, then infrastructure is what we are talking about. SDN is the buzzword which we are going to look at into, right? Automation, orchestration, mobility, so many things, right? But we are not going to touch them right now. What is ACI? Application centric infrastructure is the full form of ACI, application centric infrastructure. The best is you better call it as software defined networking. Here, if we look at into the purpose, some infrastructure which is centric towards the application. And now there is a confusion, a big confusion comes to us. And what is that confusion? We have never, right? Application, everybody knows. In our OSI reference model, application is considered to be as our L7, layer 7, right? Hope you remember in OCR, in Open System Interconnection, OSI reference model, we said, please do not take my sausage pizzas away, right? Or all people seem to need data processing, the way to learn all the layers of OSI reference model. On top layer used to be our application. In our traditional network, we never spoke about application. We said, fine, in case if there are certain application, we will provide the ports to those applications so that they can, communicate. But now what the heck it is that Cisco is saying, we are getting ourselves centered towards the application. Guys, this is, don't worry, you need not worry much about the application installation, port allocation, etc. It is saying that whatsoever you will be doing over here, you will be focusing your attention for the purpose of application, which is nothing but an application is nothing but something which is running on the endpoints. So a focus towards endpoint for the purpose of communication is nothing but we are going to look at into. Well, to me also, this name, application centric infrastructure, is a big confusing name. All right, anyway, so why ACI? A very common question. And common question, but such a complicated answer. Guys, I will never ever suggest you to give a complicated answer the way Cisco is giving. Why ACI? Because it's ease of deployment. All right, justify it. Because it creates fabric tunnels. What the heck it is? Hardware based security, I don't know what you're talking about. Application agility. What is the meaning of agility? Multi-tenancy, micro-segmentation, what the heck you're talking about? You know what? This is the response you are going to get from your customers if you start giving them the justification of why ACI. Guys, I'll say just stop talking about so difficult terminologies in order just to convince. We are not marketing guys. You know what? To be very honest, this is all marketing. We are not marketing guys. Our intention is to justify. So the very simple thing what we should do when it comes to enough marketing, right? We are not marketing guys. What is our responsibility? To convince our customer. No marketing, first of all, right? We are from the networking background. We have to convince based on facts and figures. Here comes network operations. Never ever directly jump over to the network operations, right? I forgot the name of my friend who is working into operations, that is ACI operations, right? And even I know there are a lot many friends of mine, even in my organization, a place where I'm working in. Lot of my friends, they have directly jumped into the ACI operation without having a prior knowledge of ACI. What the company they do normally is give them how to look at into ACI operation without giving them the designing, the basic implementation knowledge of ACI. Guys, it's just like sailing in a ship without radars. Please never do that. Network operations. What we are trying to say is we are just going to simplify network operation. So I will say heck with this knowledge unless and until we know what is ACI. What does ACI typically mean? This is where we are. This is where this gentleman ACI expert is. This is guy saying, I know about 3-tier architecture, core, distribution, and access, and you're talking about 3 application tier architecture. What the heck it is? I'm absolutely confused, guys. Enough. Why ACI is still not being addressed? ACI is all about application, and I don't know about application. Absolutely correct. Okay, let me tell you. What is ACI? In traditional network, we configure through CLI predominantly, all right? In our traditional network, what we do, that kind of networking is based on core, distri, and access. Kindly don't appreciate, huh? Kindly depreciate, opposite of appreciate. Kindly depreciate that this interface and this interface, they are connected over here. This device is, and this device, they are connected over here, and this is creating a loop. Guys, discouraging you over here. Why? Because when we purchase our switches, we pay on per port cost wise basis. And you know what happens in case if our connectivity is like this, immediately in a switched network, well, there is a background noise, and may I request a friend of mine? Okay, thank you so much. Before requesting, my request is catered to. Guys, in case of traditional networking, though we do pay on per port wise basis, but what happens end of the day? It says, dude, you are in a blocking state. So this means that though we have paid for this particular port, but their spanning tree protocol, right? Guys, can you help me? to tell me the name of the developer of spanning tree protocol? First letter? Come on, you should be knowing it. Or if you don't want to speak, guys, always you have a chat window available. Okay, fine. Silence is partial acceptance. Radia Perlman. She was a lady who developed the spanning tree protocol in order to avoid the layer 2 loop. We all know what is layer 2 loop. Guys, there was a question, what are your expectation? This is my expectation. My expectation and expectation of this course is that you should know what is spanning tree protocol, what is layer 2 loop, so that you should not feel, weird in this particular session. So Radia Perlman, the developer of spanning tree protocol, you know what she realized? She looked back in 1936, right, wherein one gentleman designed a solution of a switched network, which was formalized in 1954 by another gentleman called Charles Claus, right, who said the switches to be connected in the northwest direction and there should not be any connectivity in east to west direction. I don't know for what reason this particular infrastructure, which was used in 1954 by Bell Telephone Company, was not accepted by our networking industry. All right, fine. Answer to the question, the very first point of answer to the question, why ACI? Because ACI gives us the most cost-effective solution by not using our east to west and thus ensuring that all the ports are in an up state in simple ECMP, equal cost multipathing, on all the connected ports. However, in case of traditional network, it is not possible because one of the port gets blocked to avoid L2 loop. This should be the very first reason why ACI. Or you know what? Why VXLAN? Why software defined networking? Old fashioned. Wow. Old movie was black and white movie. New movie comes, which is colorful movie. And in this colorful movie, we come across many new terminologies. So guys, in order to understand ACI, we need to understand what is application profile, what is tenant, what is interface profile, what is filter, bridge domain, switch profile, physical, blah, 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 blah. All these terminologies, including the terminologies which we have seen earlier, right? They will be presented to you. They will come across in front of you in a new way. And the connectivity is not in a traditional way. The connectivity says, sorry to east to west connectivity or any lateral connectivity. It's all going to be north to south connectivity. By the virtue of the physical connectivity, we will not allow any kind of L2 loop to happen, right? But this doesn't mean that STP, spanning tree protocol, will not be available. We will still provide spanning tree protocol, but the physical setup should not lead us to the creation of L2 loop. By mistake, guys, if you connect say this switch with this switch, this is quite obvious that L2 loop will happen. See how. The triangle gets formed or a loop gets formed. So please, the ACI say, do not do it. Why? Because we want to bring the cost effectiveness of each and every individual port. Okay, this is clear. Now, the ACI networking says, as against traditional networking, sorry guys, no to or prohibited is box by box approach. What does it mean? This means that you need not log into the individual switch in order to configure it. I'm sorry guys, I forgot to tell you that this layer is known as, and the switches coming in this particular upper layer, they are known as spine switches. And the switches coming on the lower layer is known, they are known as leaf switches. This means in case of Cisco ACI, it clearly says, guys, forget about box by box approach of configuring your switches. Rather, you will be configuring all your devices with the help of special servers called controllers, which in real production environment are heavily suggested to be deployed in a cluster of cluster is not a correct term because we don't create a cluster, in a group of or in a family of 1, 2, and 3 servers minimum, right? Okay. One more thing, guys, I just, because this just brought in my mind one particular request. Okay. Would request you to once you connect to with me on daily basis, whenever any topic gets started, I do put certain questions. All right, you can follow up with me with regards to the questions. Whatsoever you will go through, you will get to see daily one question on Cisco ACI, the same practice I was following with regards to my previous topic. So this particular will give you a good review of the topic, and of course this is absolutely open to everyone. So what is the name of load balancing process in APIC? This is the question which I put. So I'll keep on putting the questions. All right, so back again to where we were. All right, so guys, the configuration of this entire infrastructure, this is cloud. Guys, we are left with just few more minutes. In case if you have any question, please ask. Few more minutes doesn't mean that I am definitely going to stop. I'll still give you leverage to ask the questions. All right, so the configuration of the entire infrastructure is going to be happen with the help of these controllers, and these controllers in ACI, they are known as APIC, which stands for Application Policy Infrastructure Controller. What are these controllers? From the scratch to the ultimate use of these controllers, we are going to look at into. And of course, during the course of our theory, we will be doing a lab with regards to our APIC controller, bringing up our APIC controller, and I would really appreciate you guys to do the lab on that. Okay. ACI networking. I do understand most of you are the guys who have not done Cisco Nexus hardware session and discussion with me. In case if you have not done it, would appreciate you guys to let me know so that I can give you a detailed understanding of Nexus 9000. Nexus 9000 switches which are actually used, actually means only they are the one which are used for our Cisco ACI. Nexus 9000 switches, they do come in two different variants, Nexus 9500 and Nexus 9300. Nexus 9500 has got three variants. Nexus 9300 has got many variants, many models. In a large infrastructure, we use our Nexus 9500 switches only for and at a spine position. In a small network setup, we can go for Nexus 9500, not all. Some specific Nexus 9300 series switches. I think I said 9500 earlier. I'm sorry for that. Only specific Nexus 9300 switches called the baby spines. For example, these Nexus 9300 switches are known as baby spine. Baby spine. And at a leaf position, we use only Nexus 9300 only, depending upon what kind of port we want and what kind of port density we want. One important thing, this connectivity between our leaf and spine switches, right? This connectivity should be of minimum 100 gig of connectivity in today's world. All right. So that's the important point. 40 gig is also okay, but never okay for 10 gig connectivity. Right. Okay. So as I was saying, kindly be noted, this entire cloud, this entire group called Fabric, I must say Fabric. In my words, the Fabric is nothing but this, the weaving of the strings, right? So now, yes, this is what the Fabric is, and this is what we discussed about Fabric. All right, and this is what these hardware devices are made up of. While we have called them as Fabric, it's not just a suffix we want to add, a beautiful, jargonized suffix we want to add. No, Fabric has a specific purpose here, which we discussed in Nexus hardware sessions. All right. Okay. So, okay, this entire Fabric is managed. That means configured from these. I don't want to say that they are clustered pairs. Why? Clustering happens when these guys, they are supposed to join directly to each other. No, there is no lateral or east to west connectivity allowed, neither in the leaf and spine switches nor in our controllers as well, but still they become member of the same family, right? They create a cluster not by directly connecting to each other, but their connectivity is based on, based on this Fabric availability. Guys, I'm going slow to provide you leverage to ask the question. There are so many management options to configure this ACI fabric. The option which we guys will be learning during this particular course module is this, called graphical user interface, GUI. I will also tell you the not in this course. After Cisco ACI, if you wish to continue for the next part, then we can learn about Python also, which is nothing but which is called your representational state transfer, which is called your automation way, or the basically it's called automation or CLI way. Not the CLI by putting command by command interface. No, there is no box by box approach. Therein, I'll tell you how you can write down the scripts to push the configuration onto your controller, and from the controller, how the configuration can go onto the leaf and the spine switches. Slowing down in order to give you a what should I say? In order to give you a gap or a time to digest. There are so many ways, there are so many methodologies, functions of APIC. They are showing you it can topology management, health score, tracking and troubleshooting, traffic maps and statistics, inventory and logical topology view. Very important for the operations team to understand, use these different functions. For the purpose of troubleshooting, going through the health score, looking into the health status of each and every configuration, help us to fix it, right? What can control the controller? We can manage our controller directly from it. We can also manage our controller by installing our VMware. We can manage it from our vSphere client. There are certain ACI plugins which come. ACI plugins. There are certain ACI plugins you can download and you can install those plugins into your VMware, vCenter server, in order to configure your ACI fabric, not from your controller, but from your vCenter server. Guys, if you will wish to, then I can give you demo of that particular lab as well. That is definitely in the agenda. Service now OpenStack. We realizes again VMware's tool. OpenStack, ServiceNow UCS Director, Windows Azure Pack. If you install ACI plugins into these different tools or applications, you can manage your ACI fabric from there as well. Don't you think? Don't you feel that this is talking much about versatility? So it is versatility. So it is so much versatile, ready to do handshake with our different other vendors. That's true. All right. I'm going to pause over here, right? Would like to come back to you, in fact, in case if you have any question, any doubt about it so far. Your question will help me to go further. Ajay Boy, Deepak, Jai, John, Sachin, Sharda, Sukesh, Tejas, Yuvraj. Guys, any question?
Not right now.
All right.
Okay.
All right. First of
Good morning.
Yes. Good morning.
Not a technical question though, but I would like to confirm when the class would officially start after today. Like after this recording, when does the class start? Is it going to be in the month of July or tomorrow?
All right. Answer is tomorrow. Right. Officially,
Okay.
after this, it's going to start from tomorrow. Tomorrow, we have got 2 different slots available in IST, right? And Adeboy, where are you from actually?
I'm from Lagos, Nigeria, but I'm currently in the UK right now.
All right. So this means that you are 5.5 hours behind IST. So which means the time that will suit you will be 7:30 p.m. IST. Corresponding time at your place would be around 2 o'clock. So that will be the time for you. Another time available is 5:30 a.m. IST. That will be probably the midnight at your place.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome, my friend. All right. Let me request ma'am to everyone.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. So the question is how soon the lab will start. Answer is in the very third class of the theory. I will demonstrate one specific lab. Why? Because the lab is very important to understand and to justify the theory component. What is that theory component? And that theory component is to look at into how these devices, that is our leaf switches, right, and the spine switches, and how these devices, they form a cluster. How the fabric, first of all, here we call a fabric, how the fabric between ACI spine and the leaf switches gets formed, and how the cluster between 1, 2, and 3 controllers get formed. So this is very important. After telling you the theory of it, it will be incomplete without giving you demonstration. So I will say that the demonstration, the very first lab demonstration, will be in the third session, and then remaining sessions, around 3 more sessions, will be for theory, and then remaining all sessions spread across over 3 weeks will be on the lab itself, wherein we are going to come across, let me show you that. Our very first lab will be on fabric discovery, right, wherein we will make sure that we will learn how the ACI spine and the leaf switches get create a fabric, and controllers, they form a cluster, and then I was going to show you how many labs. Yeah. You can see over here, I have marked 10 labs. I have not marked over here the first lab, that is called fabric discovery. That is also one lab. I have not marked over here the lab on, advanced labs, on our multi-pod, on multi-site, and on the micro segmentation. So these are all going to be the labs which we will be discussing. Does it answer your question, dear friend? Ade boy.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Just again, to re-clarify, we'll be doing all this about 14 plus labs you mentioned just now.
Yes, yes. We will be doing all these labs indeed.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Very well. Any other question from any one of you guys? Let's not wind up with the questions in mind.
Just one question, Ashish. Just one question.
Sure.
Yeah. So
Yuvraj, go ahead.
basically, yeah. So when we're having these labs, right? So labs is that you are going to demonstrate, or we can do the labs ourselves?
Of course, my simple demonstration will not be enough. So yes, I will demonstrate these labs, and plus I will provide you, you know what, I truly don't want to exaggerate about it, 24/7, 365 days availability of the labs. Anytime you want to do the labs are there. These are labs are to be now, to be very honest, these all labs are virtual labs, right? Available with our friend Cisco, right? And as and when I'll keep going through the labs, you can do the labs simultaneously as well. If you wish to get the lab prior to my demonstration, I will provide you that as well. So yes, answer to your beautiful question is yes, the lab demonstration and lab provisioning to you guys will be there.
Yeah. Thank you, Ashish. Thank you. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, right. Thank you so much, Yuvraj, for asking this question. You know, guys, by asking the question, you are not helping yourself, but you are helping others. So it's truly helpful. It's a very philanthropist job of asking the questions. Okay, Sharda asked no VXLAN. That's right, Sharda. There will be no VXLAN. VXLAN we just concluded this week only. So I'm sorry. VXLAN detailed explanation I will not be giving. But in case if you wish to join VXLAN, then my dear friend, you have to wait for the next cycle wherein VXLAN will be covered. All right. Any other question?
What's the scope of the questions? Can we ask anything regarding ACI or only things you spoke about in this session? Because I have some questions on ACI, which I've googled it. I've seen some things about it, but I would just like to have a chat with someone about what those concepts are in ACI. Yeah, which are a little bit cloudy as it is right now, which is why I'm looking at having this course. So, what's the scope of the questions we can ask? I mean, can we ask anything ACI, or we can just maintain the what we discuss in this lab, in this session rather?
Beautiful question. Truly appreciate you. Your question is about scope. I'll say I also, being a professional working in the corporate industry, besides my passion towards training, the scope is unlimited. And you know what I'm saying is getting recorded. So you are getting the advantage. There is an unlimited scope with regards to ACI. You can ask me anything, but everyone, just like a normal human being, I do have certain limitation in case if I will not be able to answer your some tricky questions, right? I will take certain bandwidth from you and will answer those questions in later times. But I have not seen any questions so far, you know, coming or pouring onto me which I couldn't address. So, but I'm taking this leverage in case if I cannot address, And you know what? I'm giving challenge to you guys as well to ask me the questions, right? A question which I may ask you guys certain bandwidth to give, answer after some time. But the scope, quick answer to the beautiful question is scope is unlimited. You can ask me anything regarding ACI.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And why is it so? Because training in itself is a learning process as well. I do believe when I train, I do learn from you guys as well. Beautiful. All right. Any other question from any one of you? Okay, nice. Then no problem, guys. Would request you to please connect with me on LinkedIn. Please do give a beautiful response to our coordinator. Coordinator will be approaching you and starting the sessions from tomorrow morning IST 5:30 a.m. and tomorrow evening 7:30 p.m. IST. Please do enroll and join and be ready to ask any question related to your production, anything in ACI. Would love to address all your questions, easy or tricky, whatever it is. Still, I'm pausing myself in case if you have any question, any doubt. All right, so let me take permission from you. Am I good to close this session? You can say or you can type. Go ahead. Close. GAC. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Shada. Thank you, Sukesh. Thank you, Adeboy. Thank you, Yuvraj. Thank you, Deepak. Thank you, everyone, for joining. And let's sign off for the day. Thank you. Thank you, Tejas. Thank you, Shamim. So I'm signing off. Thank you so much. Bye.